Sure. I'm going to try to switch sides. I don't want to be a sidist. It's,
Speaking of infrastructure, what physical infrastructure do you guys have back in your systems to make them support a trillion views or all these uploads, et cetera?
so what's the physical infrastructure to support this? I'm repeating the question.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I love talking about Imgur's infrastructure. Imgur was released on a free host that was, I think, $5 a month. I think it was like HostGator or something. Anyway, it's terrible. Imgur got shut down 3 days after release because it received too much traffic. And the way those unlimited services work is that it's unlimited until you start affecting other people on the same server. So Imgur did that pretty quickly. So then we moved from, that service to, I don't remember the names of them, but we moved actually 4 times. And finally, now we're on Amazon Web Services. I think at any one point, we have about 40 servers running. It's all written in PHP. It runs Nginx as a web server.
How do you pay for all the storage then? What's the thing for the images?
It's all ad supported. We do have pro accounts, but most of, if not all, the revenue comes from ads. And there's actually only one little ad on every page, or not even every page, only the page with images. So, we want to keep that. That's good user experience, so we're not going to change that. But there's no, secret sauce or anything.
And Kevin, I understand YouTube is hosted entirely on GoDaddy, so that problem's solved.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually don't know, to be honest. I don't have that background, and to me, it's like magic. I actually don't even understand how we do some of those things, like the way that we encode, there's not just one version of your video, right? There's 8 versions, because there's the HD one, there's all those different resolutions, and then those have to get scanned, and then the view counts. It's just like the things that we do, that team does. It's beyond me how it all works.
You're like boiling fish in the Willamette River from the plant.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're on Amazon also. I think we have maybe around 300 servers. And I don't deal directly with that. I just hear when stuff is going wrong, and I catch snippets of what's going on. But yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, there's
repeat the question?
Yeah, so the question was, I had mentioned before that cats and babies seem to be universally popular, and were there other sociologically interesting things across geographies like that?
Boobies.
What's that?
Boobies.
Yeah, you heard him. Yeah, he went there.
Yes. That is a thing. There are certain things that maybe aren't as universal, but that you definitely see. I find that Eastern Europe has actually a really cool viral video scene some of it's seemingly very strange to me because I'm not part of that culture. But fail videos are popular. That's in that part of the world but you don't see as many fail videos from certain Asian countries. I think. I can't say that I've actually checked how many of those videos we have. There are. There's certain things that you see sort of the concept spread from one place to another. So you've all seen Mike Tompkins is one of the guys who does this. They're a cappella montage videos. There's a lot of those, and they've been mostly a U.S. thing for a long time, and English language things. It's usually U.S. pop songs that you see them with, but. We started to see them in the Middle East. There's a guy who does them for songs in Arabic, and his name's Allocca, and he's awesome. They're really, really beautiful songs, and it's the same exact concept, but it's it works for them. And he's it was cool because you think about a lot of the things that are happening. Most of the video that we're getting out of the Middle East is not so pleasant, in any given time. But this is one thing where it was popular in Egypt. It was popular in Lebanon. It was they were. Everybody sort of got it and liked it, and so you see that stuff carry over. And music is a thing. Music is a huge part of YouTube, and that's a thing that obviously carries globally. very, very well. I mean, even you see, there are other things like, you know, people love to see older people doing kids dance, doing like the Dougie, you know, like that's like, there's like a lot of those videos, like it's my dad doing the Dougie, you know, he doesn't know what he's doing, or the cat daddy or whatever. And then you go, and then there's like, you know, a video from Turkey of like, you've probably seen this Apache dancey video, this like weird guy, it's like dancing all over the place. And that dance is like a thing that like young guys and young people in Turkey like to do. And so it's like hilarious for them to see this guy basically doing their version of the Dougie, you know, like that whole thing. There's a lot of things, basic things that are truly global, but like they have to be applied for each of those things. So
since the other two sites, if I may call them that, are not quite as global, English language restriction more or less, you know, limitation. When you look at what people are looking at or talking about, has anything surprised you? So we know cats and puppies are going to rank high, but what's been surprising about what people care about?
I mean, I was surprised by My Little Pony recently. That's the thing. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting older. I'm like out of touch with a lot of things. So like, I'll go and like look at RL, and like there's all this insane stuff in there that I don't know about, and then I'll go look, and there's a whole subreddit dedicated to it, and yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff out there.
I think it's not to step on Alan, but it's funny. I think that I think we're in this weird place where we can actually measure the scale of memes. Like most people don't have access to that kind of data. So you know, we hit the 1 year anniversary of Nyan Cat, which is like, I love that video, and there are 100,000 Nyan whatevers on YouTube from the last year. And it's like, I knew that it was popular, and I obviously know how popular that video is, and I've seen some of the popular remixes, but 100,000 of them have sprung up, like on video, which is a little bit harder than, you know, an image meme to recreate.
Yeah, I'll just second, you know, My Little Pony. And I'm constantly surprised by some of the stuff that I see. I'm also surprised by, like, the number of memes that are, you know, constantly popping up, you know, constantly dying. It's like this big cycle of memes that are coming out all the time. You know, I'm just constantly surprised by, you know, some of the stuff that, you know, ends up on Imgur and Reddit and YouTube.
What do you think the chances are of Scumbag Steve surviving, not the person, of course, but, you know, the hack?
Will he survive?
Surviving a decade. In 10 years, are we still going to be...
I mean, I think it
will the hat still denote, you know?
I think so, because like everyone has like that guy in their life, so that's another universal thing. Like everyone has someone they hate and is a jerk to them. So. Yeah,
the best memes are the ones that you can relate to, and exactly, like everyone's had their lighter stolen by some guy, and yeah. So I mean, Scumbag Steve is one of my favorite memes, so hopefully that one stays around. But you know, there might be, you know, even better ones then.
So in the Boston Dig interview with Scumbag Steve, he says that he's channeling a guy that he knows who's like that. So apparently there is, even in his life, there's somebody who's like that. Sure.
Okay, so the question is, do I have any idea of how many videos I watch per day, and how do I not go insane? It's a two-parter. So I actually, there's not, my like bar for interesting has gotten really high, right? So like the number of videos I actually complete is very small. I end up watching a couple seconds of, you know, 100 videos or something, you know, but like a lot of time, there's, you know, the way that we look at the way that I look at videos very differently than most people do, just because I have access to a bunch of things, right? And we've made a lot of that public, but it's still not the way that, it's not easy for the average person to do it. But so, you know, I think a lot of us, the average person, right, like either has some subscriptions or they go, you know, they're on their social networks or whatever, and people send them a video, and then they go and watch it, and then maybe they'll watch a few more, right? I look at, we have a whole bunch of different algorithms, right, that, because I'm very interested in trying to figure out how do we define popularity based on how those videos because I think that most people assume, oh, the videos that have the most views, those are the most popular, right? And those are the viral videos. But you're like, wait a minute, there is no data definition for viral video, right? It's a term that we just use as a shorthand. And so the way I keep from going insane, right, is by looking at it from this other perspective, which is, okay, like if you look at what's being the most shared and what's being the most searched, what is the same between those two things, right? And then if you look at what's being embedded the most, how does that differ between those two? And is it different is that a global thing, or is that just in one area that's happening? What are the videos that we're getting a lot of but don't maybe have, there's not one that has a ton of views? You know, so like those things, like when you're looking at it from that perspective, I mean, there are days where it's like people come by my desk and I'll either be like weeping because I saw like some like adorable video of like, you know, the girl who hears for the first time or whatever, you know, like that's you know, amazing thing. And then there's a lot of things on YouTube that just make you very confused about humanity, you know, in a lot of different ways. And also there are a lot of like, I realize I actually don't understand pop music anymore. You know, like the Bieber thing is out of control. So. You know, I think that if you just were like doing it based on like, I want to be entertained by the most popular everything, you would go crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show a preference for questions that are not directed primarily at Kevin. Oh. Just for the moment, sorry. Maybe if we'd answer that question a little better, I'd be calling it. Yes, sir.
No, it's actually totally stripped out. We don't store it. You don't do anything with it. It's stripped out before it even hits the database.
EXIF data.
Yes.
Right.